Dateline, Austin, Texas for another episode of On Borrowed Time with Craig Jones, coming off of a crazy weekend in combat sports. Started off with the Giles trials and culminated in the welterweight war where we saw Australia get their second UFC champion. So how was that for you, Craig?
I mean, I don't know if it's a time for Dateline introductions, but it was awesome. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't get to watch the whole trials. I watched mostly. I actually fell asleep during one of Kit Dale's match, which comes as no surprise. Man can't finish anyone. But let's talk about the UFC first, yeah?
Yes, for sure.
So I'm fresh off that. Well, I wouldn't say fresh, but hungover from the after party. But yeah, we had Jack Della. I've known about Jack Della for a long time. I actually just happened to be watching Contender Series when he had his debut, and I saw his grappling exchanges and was a fan of him since then. Jack Slack runs an MMA page, and he's real good at highlighting very technical fighters, and I know he had a big man crush on Jack Della, and that's a guy I do like. It's an anonymous MMA page that just harasses everyone. He's a big hater, but he loves Jack Della. And then the first time I trained with Della would have been doing some seminars in Perth. So we had a relationship for a bit of time, but really I was just a fan, and I keep saying this, I've stolen a lot of moves from him, but I think he smokes so many bongs that he forgets that those are his moves, and I got to reteach them back to him and take full credit for it.
In the lead up, you said that Dana White needed you to save the company, make sure Jack walks away with that welterweight title. So did he call you up after thanking you at all?
Now, in typical UFC fashion, we get no respect or appreciation for the service we've done here. So really, it wasn't a service to the UFC as much as the fans. The fans hated on Belal. I contributed to that. I feel a little bit bad about that. Belal he's a nice guy. You know, he's a nice guy. He's just not a finisher, and people just really don't like his banter. And McGregor's bullied him a lot. And I'll be honest, I do watch McGregor laughing at Belal videos on a daily basis. So he's taken a lot of heat, but he is a talented fighter, talented wrestler, and very good at what he does.
Yeah, and he wasn't able to secure many takedowns, and I feel like a lot of that had to do with the skill set that you were teaching Jack. I think in the fifth round, let's relive this. There was a crazy knee from Jack. Splits the lip of Belal. And you taught him that. And then it ends up, I think Belal goes into survival mode, gets his first clean takedown in the middle of the cage, and Daniel Cormier's on the broadcast like, oh, this is going to be a really tough place for him to get up at. He's going to have to work to the wall if he wants to get up. Little does he know that Jack could just stand up.
Jack could just stand up. Yeah, obviously DC is very biased. He thinks American wrestling is good. American wrestling is not good. American wrestlers, when it hits the ground or nothing happens, the referee saves them and stands them back up. Unfortunately, in MMA and jiu-jitsu, we continue, and that's where really we have an advantage, again, over American wrestlers, all wrestlers, especially Dagestani wrestlers. We've ruined their careers as well, but yeah, they do have a heavy bias, but we can beat those wrestlers. Australian grappling, far superior to all forms of wrestling. But in that particular exchange, he just hit a simple knee lever. When we were watching it, I was a bit concerned because he was hanging on, but to be honest, he was just having a quick breather. The game plan was to really never allow both shoulders to touch the floor, really like Volkanovski does when he defends takedowns. He kind of like bounces up to his shoulder, so he's forcing the other guy to exert a lot of energy to pin. But in this situation, Jack was just like confident he could get out, so he held on, saved some energy, bang, hit the knee lever. He already knows the knee lever, but we did drill that. That was the response from when Belal would put his knee on the ground, and he hit that thumb post, got up, and just kept beating the shit out of him.
And do you get nervous at all when things get taken to the ground, or because people might look at you and go, oh, well, Craig, not doing his job?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right, is like there's a lot of pressure. Like, obviously, the corner's like, Craig, if it hits the fence or if it hits the ground, you take over. And I'm like, great, that's a lot of pressure on me. But, I mean, Jack, like, a lot of people give me too much credit, and I'm usually quite happy with that. But, like, I can't emphasize this enough. Like, Jack's team with Bennett, Scrappy, Ryan, even his brother, who had like a crazy journey to get there. Those guys obviously built the foundation. I just come in to really like they want reassurance, right? So it's like you might have a small successful team, but really what a lot of fighters want is the reassurance and confidence. So due to my grappling career and due to some of the work I've done with Volkanovski, like I am instilling self-belief. Because if you're scared to be taken down, you can't actually strike. You'll second guess yourself. But if we instill in them that, hey, you might get taken down, you'll survive and you'll get back up. Now they can flow a bit better on the feet and they don't have to be as so concerned. If you're scared of your opponent in some capacity, it's going to affect all areas of your game. So really, like, a lot of the stuff Jack was doing, he's already doing. I'm just giving him reassurances and just really mild adjustments.
And that was your 9th time as a UFC cornerman, UFC title cornerman.
7-2, 7-2.
Now we see a lot of people kind of speculating where Jack could go from here, Islam Makhachev being one of them. So what was your initial thought? He can't let him have his moment. He had to jump right in there and try to make a call out for double championship status.
Well, again, you're talking about where the credit lies, and really, like, obviously he pulled off that bullshit head kick move on Volks in the second fight, so we can eliminate that. But when it comes to pure grappling, I put all the blame on the striking coaches in that camp, obviously. Like, Volks won the grappling exchanges in the first fight. So I think Jack being a bit bigger, Jack's so unorthodox in his scrambles, it's so hard to prepare for. You basically saw Belal confused. I mean, Belal's general state of being, he kind of looks a little confused, but we really saw a heavy level of confusion in this fight. Like, Leon is the style, like, it's a tough match. Like, Belal's a tough opponent for Leon because Leon fights at range. So if Belal can break inside, he's really free to strike and shoot. And we saw him sort of exploit that against Leon. But then the difference for Jack is Jack's so good in those tight exchanges that we see is like flow with the body shots and he throws uppercuts. He's so dangerous in that tight range. So Belal, all credit to him, he had to bite down on the mouthpiece and get inside that range to even be able to effectively shoot at all. And when he did shoot, yeah, he got the takedown in the 5th round. Jack got straight back up after a quick breather. And then really in those fence wrestling exchanges, we see him hit that little, I won't go into too many details about it, but it is obviously groundbreaking technique. And it's something, again, the Dagestanis are going to have to, I mean, they're going to struggle to deal with that. They're not going to know what to do, right? But
he gave Lorosenko a little teaser, though. She was asking for all the tea, so she knows.
It certainly was little. Nah, but we're against the fence. Like, basically, we can utilize, guys will be using a rear body lock against the fence. They're trying to put you on onto your hands and keep you there. And we have reversals. We have reversals out of those positions. And he used the exact same reversal against Basil Hafez. I don't know how to say his name, that tough bastard, where he launched him with a reversal. Basil was able to scramble out of it, but really, we just want to separate the hands. We cannot let a guy lock his hands, especially a guy like Belal, short, stocky, he's got good lifts. We cannot let him lock his hands against the fence. So if he does lock his hands, we need to use things to like break those hands. And obviously, if we attempt some sort of Harai Goshi from there and it causes Belal to unlock his hands, we can get out. Another thing Jack did really good, Leon actually did it really good against Usman, is that arm drag style defense. So not allowing your opponent, I mean, it's simple. Grappling for MMA is simple. Obviously, it's going to be more simple because you run the risk of getting hit in the face. There's much more consequences, but I still believe pure grappling technique done at a higher level, we can do a lot of stuff that people would say that typically you shouldn't do in an MMA environment. But obviously, you heard in the broadcast, DC, again, an American wrestler, deeply confused by those reversals there. So.
Yeah, and Belal definitely took a lot of damage, broken orbital, broken nose, split lip. Is that part of the reason why you never wanted to get into MMA, to protect the moneymaker?
To protect the beauty, yeah. I mean, really, like, it's not about me. It's about the people that have to look at me, and they get to enjoy that on a daily basis, and I wouldn't want to rob them of that by potentially taking some damage in MMA.
So now you can just be a cornerman for Tom Aspinall, which a lot of people have been saying would be pretty poetic, considering John Jones is coached by Gordon Ryan.
That is true. And you know what's funny is if we're talking about corners, there really is no better corner than Gordon Ryan. He spent a lot of time in a corner chair as it is. So like that is really his bread and butter, to be sitting in the corner and watching a couple of people go at it.
At the end of the day, it does all come to experience and what you bring to the table in that aspect. But is there actual genuine interest in coaching Tom Aspinall? I saw he actually added you and said, like, let's do it, brother, or something like that.
We're going to be in England soon for the CGI European trials, so we'll go to Manchester. It takes a lot to get me to go to England, fucking cold, miserable place, but in pursuit of a lifelong career of ruining Gordon's plans, I'm interested.
Before we start talking about the Giles trials, is there anything else you want to say about your boy Jack? He's probably high as a kite right now, just feeling so amazing with that UFC belt around his waist.
Yeah, for sure. He's on top of the world. I mean, he's got the best nose in the world. He actually got that nose because it was the only time he ever hit a bong before a fight, broke his nose, still won that fight. Credit to him, he got finished in his first 2 fights, and now he's on a unbeaten streak. He's got so many bonuses. He's one of the most exciting guys. He doesn't talk a lot. Unfortunately, when he did talk, he bodied Ian Gary. That came out of nowhere. But yeah, really, just a great camp, a great opportunity to be a part of it. Like, I kind of said to Jack before the fight to like instill confidence in him, like, hey, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think you were going to out-grapple Belal Muhammad. But I want to give a plug to his brother, Josh Della, this crazy dude. He did not get approved for a visa to Canada, so he was in the corner. He's an absolute legend, also a lunatic, so he had a crazy path. Like, I think he might have even wanted to cross the border illegally through the woods, but he flew into the US. Canada's super tight, right? You have a DUI, anything, you get a 5-year ban. So his visa approval never came through. So this guy went on this crazy journey, flew to America, flew to New York, traveled to upstate New York, and crossed the border by foot. And I remember he was telling me about he hit a dispensary, I believe it was in upstate New York, and he said he had his first dab ever. The guys loved him so much, they were like, fucking hit a dab. So he hit that dab, and then he met the Canadian border agents and passed with flying colors and got in. We got him in the corner, and I think it was cool, obviously, to have Jack's entire family there. Jack had his kids there, he had his wife there, and he had his parents there. So it's a super special moment for them.
Wow, crossing the border super high. I think that is what brought him a lot of luck to get it done as well. Now let's talk about the Giles trials, because that was a 7-hour broadcast trying to top off the inaugural day 1 CJI. Didn't quite do it. We did 10 hours. But Giles, he really took things into his own hands, and I think his early predictions were correct. Declan really showcased a great performance, but what was your biggest takeaways from the Giles trials?
I mean, I was shocked Kit was in there. Kit, very talented grappler from back in the days, kind of used to just beat the shit out of me and Lachlan. Doesn't anymore, though, for the record. But I was shocked he pulled up last minute and did so good. Like, he's been pursuing his acting career, and he showed up, and so we had the 16-man tournament, and the winner of that got put into the round robin event. I lasted until just before the finals match. That's when I fell asleep. I called it a day, and then I just caught the replays. But really, yeah, Kid impressed me. Kid impressed me a lot. I didn't think he still had it. I don't think anyone did, but he really looked good out there. Shout out to Declan. I know Declan was annoyed that he had to do the trials because obviously he's such an elite level, but yeah.
How did you know that? Secret sources?
I have inside sources everywhere, you know. I find out everything, even about obviously your personal life, as I've told you.
That you've exploited to the world.
Yeah, we've leveraged that for lower pay. That's the way we operate here. Declan went over there though, and I think that sort of built a fire under him, and he just went on a rampage out there. He submitted quite a few dudes, took out Kit Dale. Kit Dale already had to have whatever amount of matches before and still put up a good fight in the round robin tournament. So Declan, I knew Declan would take it out the whole tournament. Like, he's that good. It's sad that we didn't have a place with him on B team for our actual team. The nicotine's getting to me. But Declan impressed me. I went in there biased because, like, I just didn't like the name of the other dude, Belal. We were hoping for Belal losses, but Belal got one in our tournament. To be honest, I didn't see his too many of his matches, but Lachlan had been singing his praise. I think he's been only training 4 years. Did you, as our CGI journalist, watch the entire broadcast, Alex? Can you break down Belal's performance in your opinion?
Belal did very well, but it ended up coming down to whether or not Declan could submit him, and it just ended in a draw. And so Kaya was the other option.
Right. Kaya, oh yeah, props to him too. Kaya, I think I cornered him twice against Bob Ferraz, who's a Brazilian dude that's lived in Australia a long time, and Bob's got the better of him twice. Kaya's put up an incredible fight, but I do believe Kaya was able to avenge that and get the submission victory.
Yeah, and he was also put in there along with Belal to spice things up because they both have very interesting guards, and Lachlan really didn't want just wrestlers, going at it for however long. When it comes to some of the submissions that we saw, Declan takes the back of Alibi, submits rear naked choke. Declan submits Kit Dale, rear naked choke.
Alibi. His name, yeah, he's Alibi. Alibaba. No, Alibi. I know Alibi from Kazakhstan. I've trained with him in Kazakhstan. Super cool dude. Actually, I think he's holding on to a bunch of luggage I left at his house out there in Kazakhstan. But yeah, Levy's a great guy, really tough guy to train with. I'm glad he was able to get a visa into Australia. I know it could be difficult for the Kazakhstan crew to get in. But yeah, he's a tough dude for these guys to fight against.
He's definitely a tough dude, but he ended up with -3 because of getting submitted. Talk about Kenta.
I take it back. Okay.
Yeah, it's just everything that you said.
Yeah, Kenta went out there against some big boys, right? So like he had Duke Didier, best name in the tournament in terms of just, that is a funny name, but he's a big judo dude who's done some MMA, and Kenta was able to submit him. Kenta, who else did he submit in the first round? Uh-oh.
Good question.
Uh-oh, the journalist has failed. Yeah, Kenta got 2 subs, and then, it was Siraj. Siraj, a guy that trains at Absolute MMA, trains with Giles, tough guy from everything I hear. Rolls hard in the gym, so when I visit, I just don't roll with him as an elderly man myself. But yeah, I think he kicked. Something happened, and he put Kenta's teeth through his bottom lip, and Kenta toughed it out for another match, and then was just like, his mouth couldn't handle it.
Why don't people wear mouth guards when they compete?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, if you got the top, I think you might have had the top mouth guard in, but maybe the bottom teeth somehow got bitten into there. I reckon a pouch would have added an extra layer of protection there.
Do you wear mouth guards when you compete?
Yeah, I wear mouth guard. Oh yeah, I always wear it when I compete, and sometimes I'm lazy, sometimes I lose my mouth guard, and like, I feel very scared. Again, I don't want to fucking fuck up this Picasso-like painting up here, so I try and wear it at all times. But sometimes you forget and you clash your teeth together, it's a nightmare. Can
we talk about the announcer and how he felt like he was auditioning for the CJI announcer spot? Did he share any of your stimulants?
That's for damn sure. If that was an audition, he failed. Lachlan Judge put in a hell of a show, but my boy Zach here, I don't know, whatever substances he took before, I want some of it to put in Alex's drink before the next event.
Yeah, so I could be like, "Hey, Craig, how you doing?"
Yeah, he had a lot of lower jaw movement, reminiscent of Joe Lopez. But yeah, the whole show was sick. Like, Giles went above and beyond to build the pit. So he built a 3/4 pit in his gym, and from personal experience, that's not cheap. So props to him for fully committing, taking the coaching role on board. Like, you ask Giles to do something, he will put a lot of thought into it.
He took it so seriously.
Yep, he for sure would have sat there in silence thinking about how to run this event for many, many, many hours.
Oh my gosh. And then he was able to award the $5,000 bonus for the person who got the most subs. So, doing these trials and then getting a payday out of it.
Yeah, actually, there was one thing I wanted to bring up too was, I think his name is Euros. He's a Ukrainian dude that teaches at Art Suave up in Brisbane. I think he still teaches there. But he impressed me because he went attacked an arm in Ezekiel, but credit to his shoulder flexibility, he reversed the grip, and that's something I've never seen before. So that was really cool to be able to see that take place. So saw an innovative submission there. I mean, I'm a bit behind the pure jiu-jitsu game these days, just with my extracurricular activities, but that So busy,
Coaching, promoting.
It's hard carrying all the work around here, obviously running B team, solely running CJI.
Well, Seth forgets to charge the batteries.
Seth can't even charge a battery, it is difficult. I'm running charities, I'm negotiating contracts, I'm battling with people trying to stream with us. Obviously, I'm dealing with your bullshit, Alex. It's not easy. It's not easy to keep up to date with all the submissions.
And you're also dealing with all the wild card opportunities. One of them was revealed at Giles Trials.
Yeah, and if I do remember correctly, this you told me was the only man under 5'6" you'd consider dating, and that is Fabricio Andre.
That was indeed never said, but I'm glad that you're putting that into the ether.
We gotta hype him up. Now
TMZ can crop that.
I wanted him in CGI 1, but CGI 1, because it was under 80 kilos and he competes at 66, it was hard to sway him away from 80cc. We didn't get too many 66s, right? CGI 1 was absent of the little fellas, again, like your dating life, Alex, but Fabricio Andre, one of the most exciting grapplers out there, super stoked to have him a part of the event. He holds a victory in Polaris over Giancarlo, which is just insane.
So now we have to assume that all of these teams are going to be released at some point, because at one point you were saying, maybe we won't tell everyone the team. And I'm like, how's that going to work? How are we going to do media days and stuff? So you think that the teams will all 100% be released? And do you think that there's going to be backups?
I mean, that's true. We might not 100% release them, and that might also be because, like you said to me, you said, hey, Craig, how am I going to interview some of these idiots? They're a terrible interview. And I'm like, well, that solves a problem. If we don't announce the whole lineups, that Royal Rumble-esque reveal could almost be more exciting if you just know an Atos representative is out next.
When you think back to Kinetic, Lachlan said that they knew who was going to be up first.
Yep.
How do you prevent something like that happening? He was like, oh, I don't remember how we knew that. But it wasn't just where, like, you guys did some snooping or talked to someone on the other team?
That's a great question, actually. I think, so Quintet, you'd have to have your lineup prearranged. Kinetic, I think maybe you just had to have your first pick. I can't even, honestly, that was probably, how many years ago?
It was in 2019.
Yeah, so that's a lifetime ago, you know. I cannot remember that. Really, like, I based it solely on Quintet. What I loved about Kinetic was they added heel hooks, right? They gave it a crack and they added heel hooks, which gave Lachlan Giles, he ran out a whole team. He ran out Manshakera, which is very impressive. He heel hooked Manshakera. I remember Gordon was on our team at the time, and Gordon was like trying to coach Lachlan to be like, oh, you're not going to be able to heel hook much, because I think in matches with Eddie Cummings and maybe even Gary Tonin, they couldn't heel hook him. Lachlan Giles went out there, credit to him, got the job done, and then he just beat up a bunch of old retired MMA fighters that know nothing about leg locks, but nevertheless he did run an entire team, and I loved him for that, because at the end of the day, me and Edward Najimé, we didn't have to compete at all in that event.
So is there anything coming up that's special with Gable Stevenson?
Yes, we're gonna head out there, visit him, have a chat to him, get some promo work done, get a feel for the vibes, get a feel for his size, and really redetermine if I want to do the match based on how large he is in person. I've never met him in person before.
People were so upset when we put him as 6'4".
Yes, yeah, because what is he? What is he really?
I think 6 foot.
6 foot. So he makes your threshold for height.
None of these people do. Can you remind everyone that I'm a lady boy? So just everyone remember that. I was found in Thailand.
That is true. That's why you got the job, hey?
Yes.
Yeah, Gable is 6 foot, but he's built like a truck. I think competes in the 125 kilo division, which is, I believe, is that 265? So the heavyweight bracket threshold. So he's massive. I don't know if he truly weighs 125, but he is a scary person. I struggle to deal with Nicky Rod's athleticism, and Gable can do cartwheels and backflips and all that type of shit, and that concerns me for sure.
Wow. So is there any sense of intimidation?
For sure. I'm intimidated by many people. You know, like, I'll put on a brave face, but that is a scary match. Not as scary as a Gabby Garcia match, that was for other reasons, but he does scare me. Gable Stevenson is scary. I'll definitely be sitting the fuck down.
When I pointed out the fact that you're going to be holding up the Intergender World Championship, what are the potential thoughts of keeping that division going, or is it just a one and done thing with Gabby? You can't recreate the magic that was had.
Well, I've spent most of my travels, obviously I get no vacation time, so most of my travels are for business, and one of those factors is I am exploring the world trying to find the next Gabby Garcia. I'm trying to find the next giant, sexually aggressive woman challenger to the intergender title. So I'm not sure who we could do. I remember we had entertained previously Tayani Pornifrio. I believe she was like super dominant. I think she ended up getting a 4-year ban from the IBJJF, but that could be a potential challenger for the intergender belt. And the intergender medal I received, I believe I gave it away and lost it, so we'll have to make another one.
Wow. Wait, there was ever an intergender belt?
Well,
I don't remember seeing it.
We run a tight budget here. As I've told you, we have no money. So yeah, it was more of a medal than a belt. But it is out there somewhere. I don't know. I lost it in Vegas somewhere. I've lost a lot in Vegas, to be honest.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of memories, or I guess no memories in Vegas. But when it comes to the future of CJI, what is on the come up that you want people to know about?
If you went to CGI 1 and you bought a ticket, you have early access. So you have pre-sale 2 days before the regular public goes on sale. So you're rewarded for going to CGI 1. And this year, VIP will be open. So if you're on there, you can actually book VIP seats. While last year, me and Craig withheld that from the public.
Wow, so you have to keep an eye on your email.
That's right. Go to CGI2.com to make sure you're early access. But yes, if you bought a ticket to CGI 1, you have early access for CGI 2. And if you're on our email list, you as well.
Ooh, what a treat. Loyalty pays. Now let's talk about your Instagram posts, because you always keep things a little bit on the edge, but this one I was very curious on what you were talking about. You said, guys, if you sign a contract with 50% show, 50% submission bonus, you are being bent over and deserve to be. And then you followed up with, hey, I know the money isn't good, but we're going to pay you in exposure quotes.
Oh yeah, we're back to an exposure battle, hey? And that is very bad. Just think about it, guys. Think about if you were offered a contract for a boxing fight and you lost half your money unless you knocked the guy out. Or if you were offered a contract for a wrestling match and you were offered half the money unless you pin the guy or tech the guy. That, I believe, is an exploitative contract. And really, a lot of people are held up by, they're like, oh, you get the marketing machine of this. But guys, remember, if the audience of that boos grappling and wrestling exchanges, do you think they're going to care? Do you think do you think there's going to be any crossover from a group of people that boo grappling? So guys, don't buy that bullshit. Remember, there's a lot of things happening in the sport. There's a lot of big organizations that do compensate well and do actually have surprisingly good contracts. So if somebody presents you with an absurd 50-50 contract, tell them to go fuck themselves.
And what would you say if it is trying to incentivize the sub? Like, a lot of promotions do that, but in bonus form. So what would you say to the argument of people being like, well, they're just trying to incentivize someone getting the submission?
Well, it just doesn't work like that. We need two people going for the sub. It's a two-way street. So really, a lot of guys, you might face an opponent that might be on a 50-50 deal too, but if he believes you're better than him, he's going to try to win by decision. If he sees that as his only path to victory, and if a guy is shelling up and being inactive like that, you're not going to be able to get the sub. And oftentimes what happens, and it happens to a lot of competitors, is they don't dig deep at the end. If you've lost and you're in a bad position, you just don't want to be submitted. There's some moral victory in not being submitted. So a submission bonus structure does not work. It does not work at all. If we want to make grappling exciting, and I truly believe the exciting part of grappling are the scrambles, the reversals, Andrew Tackett versus Cade Rotolo, that is really incentivized by the grappler's style and also what they compete in. It's like, what are we going to not have a pit and keep having resets and wasting time? Like, you can't even chase a guy down. Remember, if it ain't in the pit, it ain't shit. So a 50-50 structure like that. I know some of you guys are idiots. I'm an idiot too, and think, oh, well, just go out there and fucking submit everyone. You won't. You're going to lose a lot of money. So be very careful about contracts you sign. And really, if you're stuck in a 50-50 deal for a long time, that is embarrassing. Have an adult in the room. I know there's not too many in jiu-jitsu gyms, but find someone to help you rationalize that. And remember, guys, you all have leverage. So if you say, I'll use Andrew Tackett. If you're a guy like Andrew Tackett, you are one of the most exciting grapplers out there. You're one of the best prospects. He's good in front of the camera, and he should be rewarded for that. You know, people should be rewarded for the value they bring to the table, and you bring value to the table. It's a two-way street. An organization is never going to build you up. It's 50-50. You have to be met halfway.
And when it comes to meeting people halfway, Gabby Garcia will meet the lucky Willy Wonka golden ticket winner halfway. So when is that all going to be happening? Is the shirts already being made? This is the potential of you winning VIP access if you get the Golden Street X
What
t-shirt.
else was in that deal?
VIP tickets.
I think we could show
Craig Jones,
we could show
VIP
a quick
locker
sticky.
room.
Yeah, you get in the locker room for sure. You won't last in there though. You will not enjoy it. I think I do have a picture of these shirts. We'll give a little sneak
I'm so
preview.
excited to see it because Street X has the coolest designs.
Thank you for that. I do actually all the design work as well, which is why it's a heavy burden to bear.
So what does Bradshaw do?
Just loses super fights to all my staff members basically. There's only going to be one golden shirt. Actually, there'll be two. There'll be one for the winner. I'll have one. Seth will not have one. That's for damn sure. And if he does get one, it'll be extra small. But it would be the golden shirt. Sorry about the ugly model. They're cutting costs down over there at Street X. And then the regular style shirt will be this style. I think they're going to go on sale around ticket release time, to be honest. So getting that VIP experience. You know, again, I will let you in the locker room for a brief period of time until you annoy me, but I will deliver on that.
So some of the advertisements in the Giles trials were very entertaining. I didn't know Lachlan was such a good actor. And I posted questioning whether Ferris is going to be able to live up to that comedic forefront that they just set. Very, very high. So do you think that they're going to be able to create as funny as content as we saw in the Giles trials?
I mean, I'll say this much, Ferris, if you don't do that, you'll be fired, brother. Everyone's replaceable. You better do some good promotion work here, Ferris. But yeah, CGI Euro trials will be May 24th at Los Bandidos. It's already sold out. We're going to have some scraps. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have an unlimited supply of tequila, and I will be commentating that, and I'm excited for that.
It's coming so soon, and you can actually drink tequila. That's nice. I remember you had to kind of hide your tequila at a different event, and then you gave it
outrageous.
to Victor Hugo, and you didn't tell him that it was not water, and you almost made him throw up everywhere.
Well, it must have been good tequila because I don't remember that happening, to be honest.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll get Victor Hugo's take on it because I'm going to be talking to him soon.
I remember, at the Fight Pass invitation, it was a sad day because obviously Victor beat Nicky Rod, but we were in the stands just drinking non-stop glasses of tequila, and we had a serious argument about getting that bottle to our seats just to save us having to walk to the bar. But we cleaned her out of tequila for sure. Speaking of Victor Hugo, the man cannot handle a glass of tequila, but what he can handle is a lot of men, and we'll be speaking to him soon for a major announcement.
If you enjoyed that interview, be sure to check out this one.